I've always been fascinated interacting with different people of different background, different cultures, and more recently, in the last 10 years or so, I have become um, so interested to discover the different stories on my family tree. Born on the shores of Lake Tanganyika in East Africa, in what was formerly known as the Kingdom of Burundi, we were always uh, reading about the history of other nations. In fact, I learned more about European history than African history. Moving to Britain got me interested to start searching about the history of different African countries. And indeed, Britain has a lot of resources to discover more about different nations. The benefit, of course, of meeting as well different people from different countries sort of gave me a curiosity to wonder who were my ancestors. Today, I want to focus on the surprising ancestry I mapped out in terms of my Jewish heritage, which was quite um, unexpected. Um, at least I was quite unknowledgeable that there was indeed um, some ancestors who had practiced Judaism for uh, a long time. I remember just getting on the underground in North London, Golders Green, which has a large Jewish community. In fact, myself, I lived in one of the councils that has one of the largest Jewish community in all of London. And I was getting on the underground, coming back from Golders Green, and then there was a lady who smiled and asked where I was from. So I told her where I was from, and she immediately just said, have you heard of Ethiopian Jews? I said, no, I've never heard of Ethiopian Jews. I was completely uneducated, unknowledgeable about Ethiopian Jewry. So she just smiled back again, said uh, that she believed that I was an Ethiopian Jew. So I said that I'll go back and learn about um, the different Jewish ancestry and communities there is. Um, then a few years later, I met a lady from Holland, and she just came and sat beside me, and she said, um, "Where are you from?" So I told her where I was from, and she was very specific. She said, she sort of asked what tribe I am. I said I'm not very sure because my father never told me, but um, I mentioned about the clan, which is different to the tribe. So she pulled out a pen and said that she wanted me to go and visit a particular website. This website was Kulanu. It's a Hebrew word that means all of us, an organization helping emerging Jewish communities from East Africa to India to Latin America. Up to this moment, I still did not think about a DNA test. It was only just in 2019 that I decided to investigate my health, pulling the genomics data to try and understand what are the risk, and the compatibility uh, uh, with my genetics in terms of treatment. I was not thinking about investigating a population. So I get the first results from a company that specializes in research in health, um, um, who've actually done a lot of positive work in terms of heart disease and um, cancer, diabetes. I was absolutely amazed to see the first page. The first page said, "You are Rwandan, Ethiopian, Eritrean, and Sudanese." I was absolutely surprised, not so surprised about Rwanda because of obviously the proximity of where I was born. Um, but what really amazed me was to see uh, a big chunk of my DNA saying that um, I have Ethiopian and Eritrean heritage. So this started a journey for me to discover more uh, about these links. I wanted to find out names if I could. I wanted to find out the regions if I could, of places where my ancestors lived. It's been an incredible journey of discovering the different modern history, ancient history of my ancestors. And today I just thought in terms of recording, because obviously none of us on our family tree has ever thought about putting together the whole history in a book or a film or documentary. So I thought of starting to write children's stories and organizing documentaries and even a film script. Um, so far from last year, just after surviving my um, heart attack, I decided to start writing a film script for what we hope to shoot in the lands of the ancestors. So today I've put together a little booklet about my ancestry, my Jewish ancestry particularly, and I hope this will help and inspire others as well to uh, do further studies on their own um, ancestry. It's really important because too often um, we like to create wars and not realizing that we are all interconnected. As you can see from this GEDmatch calculator, which picks up different population, Saudi, Yemeni Jewish, Bedouin, Egyptian, Palestinian, Algerian, Jordanian, Libyan Jewish, Syrian, Ashkenazi, Western Germany, Western Norwegian, Tunisian, Swedish, Moroccan, Norwegian, Samaritan, and North Swedish, North Dutch, Italian Jewish. I have discovered cousins from all these populations, and I never thought uh, that, you know, my ancestors interacted with all these communities. And it is, it makes you sort of look at ancestry and ethnicity and identity in a different way. Most definitely. If people ask me this, next time where I'm from, I would definitely say where I was born, but I would say that my ethnicity is a citizen of the world. So I hope you are going to enjoy this little book that I put together for your children, and I hope more people will be inspired to, start writing your story. whether it's that story of you starting a business of baking bread in the village, or setting up the first solar uh, uh, um, generated uh, power, to your journey of crossing countries to go and study, like my father did at the age of 7, crossing to Bukavu in the Congo, because there was no secondary school in his village. Write your story. You never know who it would inspire today, tomorrow, and maybe even your grandchildren. So um, I hope you enjoy this little story, which is based on my own journey of discovering my Jewish heritage.
Caleb always felt like a piece of a magnificent, half-finished puzzle. He knew his family history went back far, across continents he'd only seen on maps, but the details were hazy. He wanted to fill in the gaps, to truly understand the roots that held him upright. The first step was simple, yet profound: a small plastic tube, ready for a DNA sample. Weeks later, the results arrived not as a single answer, but as a dazzling, unexpected tapestry. He clicked the link, and a list of nations scrolled across his screen. It wasn't just one story. It was a library of histories waiting to be read. He was a citizen of the world, woven from places he never expected. The details were astonishing. Libyan Jewish, Yemenite Jewish, Italian Jewish, heritage tracing back to Tunisia, Morocco, Iran, Iraq, and Kurdistan. It was a heritage far more vast and multicultural than he had ever imagined. His ancient roots were intertwined with the deep history of the Jewish people, a history that spanned far beyond the familiar stories he had heard. Driven by curiosity, Caleb traveled to London, seeking connection. In a small community center in North London, he met Leora, a kind woman organizing a historical archive. As they talked about his results and his family's origin, Leora looked at him, her eyes thoughtful. "Your heritage, moving through Yemen and Africa, it is incredibly rich," Leora said softly. "Have you ever considered the Beta Israel community? You might be connected to the Jews of Ethiopia." The name, Beta Israel, resonated like a forgotten melody. It was a pivotal suggestion that instantly made his complicated ancestry feel whole, connecting the dots between Africa and the Jewish diaspora. Caleb devoured books and articles, researching the incredible breadth of Jewish culture. He learned about the ancient traditions of the Jews of Yemen, the vibrant communities of Morocco, and the strength of the Beta Israel. His own journey was a living lesson. Jewish identity was not monolithic, but a brilliant global mosaic. This new understanding led to an unexpected invitation. Caleb was asked to speak at a major Holocaust museum's annual remembrance event. The theme was resilience and diversity. There, he was introduced to Shimon, a survivor whose quiet strength was immediately visible. Shimon shared his harrowing stories of loss and survival in Eastern Europe. Caleb shared his extraordinary journey of discovery, reaching back through centuries to ancient communities scattered across the globe. Together, they represented the past and the future, tragedy and triumphant continuity. On stage, Caleb spoke powerfully. When we remember the Holocaust, we remember the millions murdered simply for being Jewish. We must also understand who they were and who we are today. We are a people of every color, language, and continent, from the sands of Morocco to the mountains of Kurdistan, from Europe to Ethiopia. His voice filled the room, blending history, ancestry, and hope. Caleb knew then that his journey was more than personal. It was a testament to the enduring, diverse life of the Jewish people. By embracing every thread of his multicultural heritage, he could honor the memory of the past and inspire the future to stand together against hate, celebrating the extraordinary breadth of humanity.
I hope you enjoyed the story, and I hope it inspires you to write your story, your family story, or your community story, or what you have witnessed, what you have um, achieved, or what are your hopes and dreams for the future. I thank you.